Hello everybody and welcome back to John Wulai. We're back for week 2.
Yes. Are you all feeling good after the last episode?
Yep.
Well.
Not for long. So, this is the first time I'm seeing this movie, Tommy. Pretty dour stuff. We'll talk about it.
It's very dour. I didn't remember it being this dour when I watched it ages ago.
Yeah, we'll get into it. Yeah, today we're going to be talking about Bullet in the Head, a 1990 film. So 2 years prior to Hard Boiled, but a couple of years after the beef between John Woo and
Sui-hak.
Yep.
Well, apparently this film was supposed to be A Better Tomorrow 3, but then they parted ways.
Prequel?
Yeah, this was supposed to be the prequel.
Yeah.
I mean, the story is basically following 3 friends in Hong Kong who, I guess, they delve in crime.
Yep, so this is Ben, played by Tony Leung, Frank, played by Jackie Chung, and Paul, played by Wai Se Lee.
I think these are all very top tier actors. Like Jackie Chan was very popular. There's a lot of very strong facial expressions in this movie.
Yes.
Everyone does very strong facial expressions in this movie.
They're all doing different kinds of strong facial expressions in this movie. Yep, so you were saying 3 friends.
Yeah, Ben, Frank, and Paul, they delve in crime and they accidentally murder someone in revenge. And then, they find themselves trying to make their way in Vietnam, followed by many bullets, of course.
Yep, one of them ends up in one of their heads.
Yes.
Hence the title.
Bullet in the head.
The opening to this movie, Tavi, is I found really funny.
Yeah, it is pretty funny. The music is really funny.
It did not set the tone of the rest of the film at all. It's like a montage of ballroom dancing, frolicking in the streets, and gangland violence. All put to a cover of I'm a Believer.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
My earliest memory of this film was ages ago when I saw this at the video store. I remember looking at it as a kid. I'd look at the cover and it's got the very iconic still of the 3 friends like pointing guns at each other in the boat and reading the title, Bullet in the Head. I'm like, man, this movie sounds fucking gangster. I remember enjoying it a lot.
Yeah.
I remember the third act being a lot longer. It felt a lot longer because I think it was just very dour and depressing.
Yeah.
I think this is probably John Woo's biggest epic. It's his Apocalypse Now.
Yeah, it's definitely his most political film.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably the darkest film that I've seen from him. You can tell it's dark because there are absolutely no doves in this film, Darby.
Yeah, that's it. There's no doves.
Yeah, so he's probably not in a good place when he made this film. Something about making movies about the Vietnam War that just really makes it difficult.
Yeah, I think he was reacting to a lot of the political climate that was happening at the time, and I think he changed his script after the Tiananmen Square incident.
There's definitely a reference to it in this movie,
I think even the title, Bullet in the Head, I think during the Vietnam War, I think it was on TV, the South Vietnamese had fought off a few of like the Viet Cong and they kind of had them in this like square. And then like, on the news while a guy was recording, I think they're sort of like talking to this guy and this guy just pulls a gun and just like shoots this guy in the head.
Jeez.
And I think that really struck a chord. Like, it was uncensored.
Yeah. That'll be fun for me to try to find on YouTube, Tavi, to put in this video.
No, it's on the documentary, like the Vietnam War that came out like 10 years ago. Yeah, really good documentary. I find this period of history quite interesting because it obviously affected a lot of our parents, the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
Like, this was their time and they witnessed some of this stuff happening. So it is probably like a fresh wound for them. Yeah.
Luckily for us, they did manage to flee, but it's definitely a period of time that intrigues a lot of filmmakers as well. Because, I mean, you mentioned Apocalypse Now, obviously the Rambo films as well. You know, these stories always center around trauma, I guess, caused by this conflict.
Trauma and PTSD.
And this movie is no different.
Yeah.
But it does start off fairly light. It starts off as pretty like traditional John Woo fare. Like it starts off in Hong Kong where, you know, there's just small-time gangsters doing small-time gangster stuff. They accidentally kill someone and then they have to flee to Vietnam. And, you know, like Ben, Paul, and Frank, like you said, this is an epic. So they do start their journey off as small-time crooks, essentially. They haven't even fired a gun before when they first arrive in Vietnam. But then
the midway second act where they gun down maybe like 50 people
Yeah.
in a massive shootout.
Oh, that's so good.
I've
That-
never fired a gun before.
This movie must have a pretty decent budget, right? Let me have a look.
Oh, it's only 3.5 million US.
Okay, but that's pretty high though for the time, right? Like that
Yeah, for Hong
for
Kong.
Hong Kong standards.
Apparently, a lot of John Woo movies were box office bombs, and this one was one of the biggest ones because of the budget.
Yeah.
And because of the beef between Sui Hak and John Woo.
Yeah.
Better Tomorrow 3, which was not directed by John Woo, but Sui Hak, was released a year before. And so it was rushed to the theaters to beat this movie. So everyone was a bit Vietnam warred out by then, and then no one watched this movie because I think, Chow Yun-fat was probably a bigger name than Tony Leung at the time.
Yeah. Sui Hak, he was a producer on Better Tomorrow too. I mean, we'll probably get more into the beef potentially in the next episode. No spoilers here. I guess he would have been powerful enough to essentially blacklist John Woo at this point. It might have contributed to the low box office numbers of this movie.
Well, I found out that The Killer was a bomb as well, and so was Hard Boiled.
Well, who keeps letting this guy make movies? really, really good movies that bomb in the box office.
He's getting the John Carpenter treatment.
Yeah.
I think John Woo was treated better than John Carpenter.
Well, I mean, at least he found international success in Hard Boiled, which took him over to Hollywood. For better or worse, we might get into that in a future episode as well. But as far as this movie goes, like you can really see the budget on screen.
This movie has a lot more locations.
There's a lot more exterior filming.
Yeah, more exterior. It's a bigger scale. Well, most of it was shot in Thailand.
Yeah.
And then a lot of the interior Vietnam stuff was just shot in Hong Kong.
Yeah, the club scene that you mentioned was probably shot in Hong Kong, but that club scene as well, it's like the hospital scene basically.
Yeah.
Maybe not as long, but there's a really high body count. There's a lot of gunfire, there's a lot of explosions, there's a lot of destruction of the set, and that's just one of the gunfights that happens in this movie. But there are a lot of gunfights that happen in this movie, especially in the exterior gunfights. I feel like there are so many explosions and there's tanks and stuff. Just when I was watching it, I was like, wow, this must have been real expensive.
I mean, like, there's a lot that's very stellar about this movie. You've got your classic John Woo stuff, gunfights, long stairs, brotherhood. I guess honor amongst thieves to an extent.
You get a Chow Yun-fat-esque character in the form of Luke, played by Simon Yan.
Oh,
this
Luke,
time.
yeah. Simon Yan's pretty sick in this movie, man.
Yeah, he's just doing Chow Yun-fat basically. I mean, the white suit
yeah.
does a lot of the heavy lifting, but he's quite good. He's very cool.
There's not as much comedic banter in this one. Maybe a little less like homoerotic. Well, there's a few.
I feel like there's a lot. Like the central three characters, they've pretty much got a bromance going. It's a pre-established bromance because they all grew up together. There's a lot of melodrama when, shit starts hitting the fan.
Yeah.
And their greedy friend Paul is just trying to get the gold at all times.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that plot line
He's got gold madness, Tavi. It's like the dwarves in the Hobbit.
He's like, just give me my gold. Don't stay away. That's a lot of gold,
It's true.
Yeah, but this movie starts off a lot slower than some other John Woo films.
Yeah.
But I think once the action starts...
I mean, it does start off with like a really well choreographed gang fight during that montage, but
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
After that, it's just about character building, I guess. Yeah.
But I think what really took me aback was how sad this movie is. It's more so like the tragic story between the three friends and sort of the bromance that ends in tragedy.
Yeah.
Which is sort of like hard to watch. This movie has a lot of very fun action sequences. You got your diving of guns and massive explosions and people getting shot multiple times.
Even the last gunfight between Paul and Ben is pretty fun, even though like
it is fun,
it is very melodramatic as well. So like all the action is pretty fun, but in between the action, it's pretty grim stuff going on.
It's pretty I thought this movie is harder to watch than other John Woo films because of how, I guess, sad it can be at times. And I think this is given to a lot of just the Tony Leung. He's got the eyes for it, just that stare.
Yeah.
And then it's just like his eyes will just water ever so slightly.
Yeah, he's so good. And Jackie Chung as well. Like he's supposed to be the lighthearted character of the group.
Yeah.
Like he's the fun guy.
Yeah.
I guess that makes it really tragic when he does cop a bullet in the head.
Yeah.
And that happens.
By Paul.
Yeah, by Paul, yeah. So basically after the big club shootout, they're kind of escaping with the help of Simon Yam's Luke. So Paul's trying to get the gold, and Ben and Frank and Luke are trying to rescue Sally. So Sally is a singer from Hong Kong that is kind of trapped in the gangster life in Vietnam. So they're trying to rescue her.
Yeah, well, she gets kidnapped by one of the heads, and then they sort of force her into like prostitution and keep her like on heroin all the time.
So that's pretty dark, isn't it?
Very fun stuff. Yeah, awesome.
But then as they're escaping, she gets shot in the back by the bad guy.
Yeah.
So they're like, she's really injured, and they're trying to escape, and they're trying to catch a boat back to Hong Kong, but they get intercepted by goons. So I mean, that's a good gunfight as well. It's all done outside. There's massive explosions. Like they set off this series of mines on the beach, and it's like a huge explosion.
Sick. Yeah, man, that guy, the boss that they're sort of trying to extract, he's the one that eventually shoots Sally.
Yeah.
Like, just injure him like a little bit. Because there's a bit where they're like asking him where's the safe, and he's just like mocking them.
Yeah.
I know they're trying to keep him hostage.
Yeah.
You know, so they can have some leverage.
Yeah.
Just like shoot him in the foot or the hand.
Well, I think they
like,
kind of need him to be able to move as well, though, because like
shoot him in the hand. He can still move.
Yeah, that's true.
He wouldn't have been able to grab the gun.
That's very
shot
true.
Sally.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure
they took his clothes, Tavi. They thought that would be enough.
shoot his fucking hand, man. Do something, like hurt him a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, it might have broken his confidence.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't have tried to pull anything like that. You know?
They were unfocused,
That was my one
Tavi.
gripe. Yeah.
Paul had gold madness. He wasn't thinking straight. Because they end up getting captured by the Viet Cong.
They get captured by the Viet Cong.
Well, everybody except Luke and Sally, I guess, because she dies.
Yeah. Yeah. She has a beautiful death, I guess. That's the...
Was it beautiful?
You know, dying slowly.
She was just bleeding out.
She wasn't like a mangled corpse. She's bleeding out.
Bleeding out,
like,
being ragdolled by Ben.
The way they shot it is like, they didn't make it look like, you know, a corpse.
Yeah, they kind of just let her float away. I'm like, you don't want to check her pulse before you let her float away downstream.
It's like, nah, he's dead.
Yeah, okay.
Paul wouldn't have it. I reckon if the boss didn't do it, Paul probably would have shot her.
Well,
eventually.
yeah. I mean, he eventually shot Frank. They're all captured by the Viet Cong, and because the Viet Cong kind of thinks they're working with the CIA, because within the gold, like hidden in there is like a map and some military information. So they assume they're working for the CIA. So like one of them's questioning Paul about what did they know, while Frank is being forced at gunpoint to shoot prisoners of war to death.
Yeah.
And he's like losing his shit.
This is a pretty hard scene to watch. This
such
is
good acting from Jackie Chung there. He's fucking losing his mind, mate. As you would in that situation.
This is basically Hong Kong Deer Hunter with tons of melodrama. He does some fucking stellar acting.
A lot of face stuff, yeah.
I hate American.
Yeah.
Do it. Like, you know?
I make it fun for you, yeah. It's good.
Yeah, it's pretty. I was like, man, this is terrible.
Yeah,
But it's like, I mean, like, it's terrible for them.
And like the Viet Cong guys are pretty cartoony, but not cartoony enough to make it a comfortable watch. It's still pretty hard to watch.
I think in terms of melodrama, surprisingly, I feel like John Woo has toned it back a little bit.
In this film?
Because the one thing I've noticed in a lot of other John Woo films, the melodrama gets to the point where it is, sometimes it's too much. Maybe it's just the other film that I'm thinking of.
But no, I think you are right. I think this is definitely more grounded.
Yeah.
And I think that is by design, because the tone of the film overall is more serious and the content of it is more serious. Like there's a lot of political stuff going on, not just the Vietnam War stuff, but the union protests in Hong Kong as well that were happening at the time.
Yeah. It's very politically charged film.
Yeah. He was definitely going for a more serious tone. Maybe that's why there's no doves in it, Tavi.
It wouldn't have made sense, man. You know, I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think you are right. I think like it is less over the top melodramatic. It's still melodramatic, but in a more grounded way, I would say.
The melodrama makes it harder to watch, especially when they do come across Jackie Cheung's character at the end after he's copped the bullet in the head.
So as they're escaping, Frank is really injured and he happens to get stuck with Paul. And Paul's trying to like shut him up because the Viet Cong are right there and they're trying to hide, but Frank's really injured.
He's screaming in pain, screaming in fear.
Yes,
and Paul's like, shut up. And it's like, I'd rather you die.
Yeah. And then he shoots him in the head. Puts the titular bullet in his head.
Yeah, the bullet in the head. Like, god damn, man.
And you think that's it for Frank. Paul escapes. He makes his escapes with his gold.
Paul escapes, murders a peaceful village. Fucking hell.
Oh, yeah.
Gold. It's just like, hey, just rocks up with his AK, just murders an entire village.
Yeah. And then steals their boat.
Yeah. Fuck, man. Becomes a crime boss at the end of the movie.
He gets a villainous hairline. That's how you know he's turned bad. You were saying about when they rediscover Frank. So it turns out Frank didn't die. Luke managed to get Frank out. Luke also suffers pretty severe burns to his face. Yeah. Frank did manage to survive, but he's not quite right. He's in severe pain, and he's doing small-time hits for small-time crooks so that he can get money for drugs to help ease the pain. So he's not mentally well. Luke takes Ben to visit Frank, and it's so tragic. That scene is so fucking tragic.
It's such good acting, though. Yeah. And Tony Leung has a really great monologue. And it's just accompanied so well, again, like with the music and just Tony Leung's eyes.
It's so weird because the score in this is one of those scores that's kind of like repeated throughout the film. But depending on the context when it's played, it captures like a totally different mood. Yeah. It's so weird, even though it's the same song.
Yeah, that's true, actually. I think this score was particularly critically acclaimed as well. James Wong and Romeo Diaz, music by.
But yeah, it adds to the impact of this scene, definitely, where Ben has to shoot Frank to kind of put him out of his misery, essentially. Same thing Paul was doing, I guess.
Ben goes to visit Frank. Ben goes to visit Paul.
With Frank.
Carrying the skull of Frank.
Yeah, how do you get that?
So, with Frank. I was going to say, like, how do they get that through customs? I guess it's like, if you declare it, it's like...
how did he get it initially is what I'm saying. Because it's like a very clean skull. Like, did he do the 28 years later trick? Or
I'm assuming I'm pretty sure he found like a bin nearby. Yeah.
He would have had to sever Frank's head off. Because when he pulls out like the white parcel, I assumed there was going to be ashes, but no, just a skull.
No, it's just a lot more like strong imagery in this movie.
Yeah. Well, they have like a car joust.
Yeah, the car joust is sick, man. Yeah. Like when it comes to car action scenes, I think for me there is a balance between groundedness and stylishness. So it can be heavily stylized, but I think there needs to be an element of it where it's grounded. Yeah. And I think also the element that is practically done.
Yeah, for sure.
When I think of my favorite car action scenes, I think of Steve McQueen. And I think of Tarantino's Death Proof.
Yeah.
And when I was watching this movie, I'm like, man, they're not doing that much, let's say, in comparison to a Fast and a Furious movie. But there's just enough choreography that it just looks really cool.
Yeah, it feels dangerous.
Yeah, the iconography of the Mercedes back in the day.
Paul finally got his Mercedes. Yeah.
I used to have one of those Mercedes as well.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have them anymore.
What happened to it? Did Tony Leung destroy it?
Tony Leung came over. He's like, I need the car. It's like, all right, Tony. He gave me a big speech about like loyalty and brotherhood.
Yeah. He gave you the doe eyes, and you couldn't say no.
Yeah, the doe eyes. That was so good. Tony Leung could get out of the way anything.
Yeah. But you're right. Like that car scene, like it isn't crazy stunts. They're just kind of smashing into each other. But because it is real, and because the whole film is kind of grounded to a point where like that is a big stunt, and it does feel really dangerous. Like it's kind of like in the first Fast and Furious movie, they have that heist where they're trying to get DVD players off a truck. Yeah. Right? And it feels dangerous. But now they're just like fucking driving down the side of a dam or something while an explosion's happening. And it doesn't feel dangerous anymore.
Yeah. And because there's just so much drama, there's so much story.
Like in this one, they kind of bring it back to the start of the film where the three brothers are like racing on their bikes, but now it's Ben and Paul racing in their cars, and it's a completely different scenario. You kind of noticed for the first time that at the start when they were racing on their bikes and Frank almost falls in the water, it's Ben that catches him. It's not Paul. Paul doesn't even try to save him. So it's kind of
foreshadowing. Yeah. Maybe they should have telegraphed his money hungry fever.
They kind of do.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah,
because they try to rob that store. Yeah.
His whole thing is that his dad was a sweeper and he didn't want to become that, basically. That kind of explains his money hunger. But eventually both of their cars get fucked fucked up. And yeah, it's just a really epic standoff. Two guys with guns, you know, and they're both real fucked up.
Yeah, there's not even that much choreography. I mean, Tony Leung does a bit of a flip when Paul sort of tries to psych him out, like from the distance.
Oh yeah, he does a spin.
Yeah, but I think it's the practical effects because there's obviously no CGI in this. I mean, like a lot of people got hurt making this movie. Apparently, during some of the riot scenes that happened in Hong Kong and in Thailand, apparently it was like super chaotic, and there were some frames where like John Woo panicked and ran into the shots as well, just because there was just so much shit going on that he ran into an explosion and it caused large cuts on his head.
Oh yeah.
And Simon Yam actually burnt his face during the POW camp sequence.
Yeah, okay.
So there you go. Maybe that scar.
It wasn't makeup.
It wasn't makeup. It was just fresh. It's like, oh, John, I need to go to a hospital. Like, no, just keep it there.
Yeah.
Keep it there, sir. And just come to set.
Action.
It looked like a scar. Action. Yeah.
Apparently his original cut was 3 hours long.
Yeah, 3 hours long. He likes doing that, yeah.
I mean, we talked about MI2 recently with Bad Movies We Love, and his original cut for that film was also 3 hours long. So
yeah,
he loves his 3 hour films, even though nobody lets him release it that way. You'd think he'd learn.
Yeah, I like this film. I think this is a really good film. In terms of the action sequences, it's just stellar. There's not a lot of movies, even today, that can really hold much of a candle to the action scenes in this movie either.
Right.
I'm not sure where I would put this in terms of my John Woo ranking, because I really like the story. I really like the themes. It's just hard to watch because it's not as fun as other John Woo films. There's a lot of sadness in this movie.
Yeah, there's drug use in this film. You don't see that often. In a John Woo film.
It can be a relatively tough watch. I mean, I saw one review say this was basically John Woo's Grave of the Fireflies. I'm not sure if it's that sad, but it's definitely John Woo's like Deer Hunter, Apocalypse Now.
In terms of like a real
sort of,
shift in tone towards serious and grim, this is definitely the movie. And I don't mind it. Like, I think it's criminally overlooked.
I think so.
Because even I hadn't seen this film before today.
It's sort of an underrated Woo film.
But all the hallmarks are there. Most of the hallmarks are there still. Like, it still feels very much like a John Woo film.
I think it's just because it's the heaviest one that it's not as accessible
it's not as rewatchable.
The Better Tomorrow. Yeah, not as rewatchable. And there's no political commentary in much of his other films compared to this one.
Except for Face Off.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Except for Face Off,
Yeah, this is definitely the more serious one. It's definitely worth a watch, but like you, I'm probably not in a rush to watch it again.
Yeah, I still find that so surprising. His movies kept bombing.
I mean, might be because he's difficult to work with. We'll probably talk about it next week.
Yeah.
But speaking of next week, Tavi, would you like a hint as to what we're doing next week? I mean, we've given a couple, but here's another one. Looking forward to talking about that film. Do you have anything more to say about Bullet in the Head?
Watch it. It's good.
You can do a Vietnam War binge. You can watch this movie, Apocalypse Now, and then Rambo.
Full Metal Jacket.
Full Metal Jacket. Just have a really feel-good evening. All right, guys, but I think that's it for this movie. But if you enjoyed this, maybe you should check out our weekly podcast, Two Asian Blokes, where we talk about Asian pop culture and such. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, all the podcast places. Check it out if you can. But until next time...
Hopefully something not as sad next time.
Oh, yeah. But until then, we'll catch you later.
Take care, guys.